Vacation program in Dallas, Texas, and good morning. Good to have you here. Everybody's getting seated. My name is Dave Ferris. I'm Lee's director of the Business Development Consulting Department. I'll be working with you guys this week. I've probably met at least one of you before, if not almost all of you. So we would like to get started by doing some prayers this morning. I always like to use Lee's version that our HR director always makes us give you the opportunity to leave the room if you're offended by prayer. If not, I have a couple of volunteers. Let's start with, where's Lewis?
Good morning. I just want to start by thank you, Lord, for giving us the opportunity to be here today. I would like you to also bless the staff and all that are present here and maintaining us healthy to attend this seminar. Because after all, without our health, we would have nothing. Also, please watch over our loved ones that are not here with us, that we all made the effort to attend this, so we had to be apart from our families. Amen.
Thank you. Angela.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Kogo Capital's Broker Certification Program. It's nice to see everyone here today, and it's thank you for asking me to pray. I think that's such a blessing. I just want to start by thanking God and asking Him to fill this place. Amen. To give each of us confidence and faith and focus, and to reignite in our hearts and minds the original vision that He's put in our heart, because all of us are here because He's leading us. He says He's a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. And so we ask you, Lord, to send angels on our behalf. Blessing angels, abundant angels, angels to give us success in business and in our family and personal lives and in our career. And Father, you say in Deuteronomy 8:16 and 18, it is you, God, that gives us power to get wealth so that you may establish your covenant upon the earth through us. And so, Father, standing on that scripture, I'm asking you, Lord, to allow us to be a blessing through all of the success that we have in this business, to provide debt freedom for us and our families, financial freedom, and of course, more than enough in abundance so that we can be a blessing to others and solve world problems. Father, today, we thank you for your blessings. We thank you for your favor. We thank you for your grace and mercy. We thank you that you cover us and give us sound mind and body and health, and that you give us excitement about what we're going to learn today, and that we supernaturally understand this, so that we can do your will and be a blessing upon earth. We thank you in the name of Jesus. In Hebrew we say Yeshua, which means salvation and which means the light of the world. Amen.
Okay, I'd like to introduce the color guard. Please stand. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rugged red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Left, 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 right, right, left, 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 right, right, left, 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 right, right, left, 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 right, center, hold, order, cutter, forward, march.
That was the junior ROTC group from the area. They were great. Could I have all of the veterans remain standing, please, so that we can give our respect to our veterans at service? Very nice, guys. Let's give them a hand. All right. Well, we've got a lot going on today, you guys. Big agenda for those of you that have been with us at previous events. We're going to work you pretty hard. I want to take a moment to introduce the gentleman that's going to be working with you this morning, and many of you have met him before. He's Jerry Strax is the current VP of the development for Cogo Capital Broker Certification, and he had been previously running the California division. I've known Jerry for a long time now. I think I was talking to him this morning. We first met at our very first broker certification program over a year ago in Las Vegas. And Jerry's been with the company for a while, not officially as an employee with the company. Prior to that, he was a one-on-one mentor with Lee Arnold, and like many of our other clients, has kind of grown with the company. Started off as a client, participated on many levels. He actually is one of our great lenders as well. So he's done lending with us. He's been investing in real estate since 1972. So I've had the pleasure of working with him for quite a while. He's going to be a great mentor and helper to you guys going through the broker certification program for the first time. Jerry will be your point of contact throughout all of your first dealings to make sure that you stay successful. So let's give a great big welcome hand to Mr. Jerry Strax. Come on down, Jerry.
Call Cogo, investors in the know. Call Cogo, yes, everybody knows.
All right. So, you now know my name, Jerry Strax. We'll find out your name later. I love to see some familiar faces. And I want you to look around the room. I want you to raise your hand if you recognize any familiar faces that's different from the person you came with. All right. So you've seen some of these folks. This is good. By the end of this morning, I hope everybody knows everybody else. Does that work? All right. So So we have says it's on. Where is it? Right over there. Can't miss it. Okay, cell phones. What do we do with cell phones? Turn them off. Is yours off? Uh-oh. Let's fix that. We'll let you contribute $20 to my favorite charity if it rings. How's that? Does that work? Okay. Respecting all. You signed something this morning, and we're going to remind you of it here. If you turn in your manual to page 7. Page 7. There won't be cell phones used. You see that, right? Now, what does it mean to respect a speaker? Does that mean to talk to the person next to you because you had a question? Good. Every once in a while we run into somebody that thinks that is respecting. Comments and commentary, we'll definitely ask for questions. Questions are always possible. But there is one rule with questions. Wait for the mic. Okay? You want to know why? We've got a whole bunch of people, probably as many people as we have in this room, maybe more, that are watching this live at home. And they can't hear you if we don't have the microphone. Okay? So, before you ask a question, wait for the mic. Be respectful, supportive, encouraging of your fellow brokers. Have fun. Have fun. Okay, well, let's try some of that. Who thinks they live the closest to this place? Tell me what. How far away are you?
About 22 miles.
22 miles. That's closer? Anybody closer than 22 miles? All right. Now, we're going to cause you some stress. So, you're going to need that. Okay? Who thinks they came the farthest? Okay, where'd you come from?
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, Michigan. Anybody farther than Detroit?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Anybody farther than Massachusetts? Connecticut. Hawaii. I'll tell you what. Hawaii doesn't count. You want to know why? Have you ever been in Hawaii? Why would you want to be rewarded for coming to Dallas, Texas?
There's no stress there.
Okay, who was in Massachusetts? All right, you're going to need some help here too. We'll go with this one. Oh, there you go. All right. So, when we're here, we need you to participate. Now, participating includes a bunch of things. It includes some thinking. So, as we're talking, you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I apply that? As we're doing exercises, you're actually doing them. If you've got questions, you're writing them in the margins so that you can ask them later, whether you ask them live or whether you ask us during a break. Participating is the way you're going to actually learn this stuff. Way, way, way back in another century that some of you, I can see that some of you probably remember that century. I taught high school physics. And I learned very quickly that the students did not learn unless they actually did it. Okay? So you got to do something. You can't just hear it, see it. You've got to do something with it. And the more you do with it, if you see it, if you hear it, if you talk about it, if you write it, if you think about it, The more of that you do, the better you are going to remember it. Okay? And let's take a look at what you've got in the manual so that you know what you have. So everybody sees the page numbers at the bottom. We're going to use those for reference. If you flip over a couple pages, you will see on page 13 the start of another presentation. Okay, let's flip back to about, how about page 184? 184. And what you're going to see on the opposite page is something called the sample loan file number 1. Flip that page, and you'll see a page number down there, 003. Do you see that? Yep. Does everybody, who doesn't see 003? Okay. Now, what you have in front of you is an actual loan application package. That is one that was actually submitted back in the days when we did it via paper. And you will, if I can find the other one, along about page 127 usually. No, 129. 129. Go to page 129. Turn the corner down on that page so you can find it again. Because if I send you to loan sample loan file 2, that's where you're going to go. This one's a refinance, the other was a purchase. You have a sample, therefore, of both kinds of files. When you're doing loan brokering, you're going to need to know what each of these documents is. If you turn to page 221, behind that page, we actually have the current Kogo Capital loan application. Page 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, 4 of 4. You get to page, the next whatever it is, and you see where you can put additional properties if we do cross-collateralization. We'll talk about that later. Flip a little farther, you'll see the schedule of real estate owned. You'll see the zero tolerance loan fraud policy. You will see a map which talks about the states in which you can broker and which you cannot be paid. I mean, which you can't, the states you can't be paid and the states you can be paid. If you flip to the next page, you see a sample of a broker fee agreement. We'll talk about all these things later. I just want you to be able to find them the first time. Then you get to a page back there that's called the background details about your deal. And if you flip, you see another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. You think we're going to use those? Probably. Okay. Now, did anybody walk in here this morning and not find a little tablet in front of their chair? Anybody didn't get a tablet? You know what those are? You didn't get one? Oh, okay. Anybody know what those are for? Notes. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take one page, and at the top of it, I want you to write plans for next week. And as we go throughout the weekend, I want you to add to it thoughts about what you should be doing next week. Some ideas that come up. You see something that really applies, write it down, because I can tell you what happens. We'll say something, and you'll remember all of it for about, I think the number is 30 seconds. And if it doesn't make it from the very front memory into your back memory, it'll be gone. Anybody ever had that? Somebody gives you, you're introduced to somebody, and you know their name. You know, you walk up to them and say, Patricia, it's really nice to meet you, okay? And then we start talking back and forth, and she doesn't have her name tag on. And what'd she say her name was? Ever had that happen? All the time. Okay? That's what's happening. That is just the normal way you are wired as a human being. You got 30 seconds to get it back there. And the way you get it back there is you repeat their name about 5 or 6 times while you're talking to them. Trick. You're going to be doing a lot of networking. Remember that. Say their name multiple times, and the chances are you'll remember, like this guy, I saw him last night. When was the last time we saw each other?
Before last night,
Yeah.
at the master broker certification,
In which month?
December.
This last December?
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't seen him in what, 2 months. I still knew his name was Daniel, and he didn't have his tag on. Okay? Now if you knew me, you'd know how amazing that was. When I was a high school physics teacher, I'd have 200 students, and by the end of the year, I'd know every single one of them. You know what happens after the last day of the year?
They're all gone.
The last day of the year, you suddenly have summer vacation. Or actually, in the education division, it's called summer unemployment because you don't get paid for those months. But you know what happened the first day of the next year? I remembered about 6 or 10 of them, maybe 8, somewhere in that vicinity. So the fact that I remembered Daniel after 2 months means he stood out. He is going to be one of our superstars. Patricia, I know, is going to be one of our superstars. She and I have run into each other at a lot of events. So I'm looking forward to being able to see all of you be superstars. You ready to do that? All right. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, we need to remember that we do have folks in the back, in the home audience that we need to remember. So I'd like you all to turn around and wave at them and say, "Hi." Hi. Now what I need you to do is wave at them here too. Hi, because I don't know which camera he's. The rule on when you have a question or you want to say something? Wait for the microphone. All right, okay. And by the way, why are we here? Yeah, that too. Well, somebody said it. To make money. We are here to make money. So why are you here?
To make money.
Come on, come on. This is Texas. Everything is bigger in Texas, right? So give me a big answer. Why are you here?
To make lots of money.
All right. I like it. I like it. Okay, so on Sunday we will have a test. You don't get to be certified without passing the test. And we've had several versions of this test. One of them was very hard. And one of them was very easy. Nobody failed that one. And one was all about memorizing. Memorizing. Okay? We've mushed that all together. And so the test you have this time is not entirely brand new, but we've eliminated the stuff that's confusing. We've eliminated the stuff that's just annoying. There was stuff in it that was annoying. Trust me. Trust me. Okay? Now, you may still be annoyed because you won't like the question we asked, but that's your problem, okay? But there will be 2 parts. The first part is closed book. You're going to have to know the stuff. And the stuff you're going to have to know is stuff you're going to need to know next week when you're brokering loans. Is that fair? Yes. We don't want to ask you inane questions that you don't need to know, but we want you to know this stuff so that next week you don't have to call me and ask me about it. And by the way, you don't want to do that anyway. Anybody that's been through the courses that I've taught knows that I am very busy. You can probably figure that out already, right? Very busy, and getting back to voicemails is something that you take your turn. If you're 23rd in my voicemails, you're going to be 23rd to get called. You need to call customer service when you got a question. If they can't answer, it'll come to me. The second part of the test is open book. Okay? Open book means you're going to be able to look at the resources in those two files. Now, any of you that have anybody ever go to school? I thought so. I knew it. This is a great crowd. If you're going to get ready for a test that's open book, how do you get ready for an open book test? It's a good idea to have the book. We sometimes run into that. People don't bring their books. Okay, so Sunday morning you definitely want to have your book. But I would be going through that book starting now and get familiar with what's on what page. As a matter of fact, if I were doing it, now you don't have to do this, but if I were doing it, you know what I'd do? On page 129, the start of that file, I would make myself a little table of contents. Underwriting checklist, page 001. Appraisal, page 0012 or whatever, whatever it is. So that I can very quickly get to the page that I need when the test asks me a question about the appraisal. I'm not going to waste precious time trying to find the doggone thing. And then I would go to page 221. That was the second one, right? And I do the same thing. Now, you're going to have, let's see, you got Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. You got 3 nights to get yourself ready for that test. Suggestion, every night go back over the stuff that we've done. Take a look at the resource files and maybe the first night all you do is find them and then do a table of contents. Maybe the second night you go back through and you start looking through some of them to see what's in each of them. The third night you do a few more of them, etc. But if you get yourself ready, that's good. Now, one warning, and this is something you'll find happening pretty regularly. Rules have to be made because somebody ruined it for everybody. Ever seen that happen? We have a rule. You can't use your phone as your calculator. Want to know why? Do phones have the capability of taking pictures of manual pages? And if you were using your calculator and you needed an answer, could you find the right page during the closed book section? No phones. You got to have a regular calculator. Now, if you didn't happen to have a calculator when you came, we have a few that you can borrow. And we may have to move them around, but don't plan on using your phone for calculating. And then after we're all done, you'll have a chance to evaluate us. I would like you to be jotting down some of these thoughts. If you see something you'd like us to do differently next time, jot it down now so you can remember it and you can write it down. If you see something that you really, really, really like, jot it down so you can tell us to keep it. Okay? Is that fair? Okay, so just in case you don't know enough about me, which is you probably do, but here is something else. Who am I? I'm a husband, father, and a grandfather who paints watercolors. I create photo art, and I love to RV. Okay? Now, a lot of people define themselves by what they do. That's not you. That's not you. You are a special person in this world. You are capable of way, way more than you think you are. When our son went off to the Army to pay for college, that was his intent, he was pushed way beyond any of the limits that he thought he could, that he had for himself. Those of you that are veterans know that. And he said, it was a great experience because I found out I could do things that I didn't know I could do. That's true of every single one of you. If you haven't already discovered that, you are capable of way more than you're accomplishing right now. Will you believe that for me? Very good. Now, whole bunch of stuff there. What does it mean? To you, it may seem like a feature, but I'm telling you what I'm bringing, because I've worked for a bunch of big companies, is I'm bringing some stuff to you that I have applied, I have learned, and I want to share with you so that you can be successful. That's all that means. Okay? Now, as a management consultant, I focused on strategy, leadership, and maximizing results. Do you think any of that has to do with what we're doing here today? As Vice President of Broker Development, my focus, my passion is to help you be successful. Is that okay with you? Yes. But it's going to take a partnership. You got to do your part. You know that old thing about lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink? You're not horses, but we're teaching you a bunch of stuff. If you don't do it, guess what's going to not happen? You're not going to make money. Okay? So, the key to being successful, do what we tell you to. After you get it right and you're successful, you can change it all you want. But until that time, do what we tell you to. Okay? Is that fair too? Yes. Okay? Because I can't tell you everything we're saying about, I can't tell you everything behind everything we're saying. We're saying it for a reason. Just trust us on that. Can you trust me on that? Yep. Okay, thank you. Now, the other thing that this means is every single one of you is bringing stuff to this experience that will be useful to you. I am able to apply all my experience to be successful. You have to think about ways that you can bring in your experience. For instance, have any of you ever had a job and reported to a boss? Let me see your hands. Anybody ever had a job? Okay, guess what? You're starting your own business, so who's the boss? You are. Have you ever in working with one of those jobs, wanted to go to the boss and tell him how he could do things better? How he could run the business better? Do it. Do it. Evaluate yourself. Think about how you're being successful. Tell the boss what he needs or she needs to do to be better. Okay? And that's all that meant. Right now, as Dave said, I am Vice President and Broker of Record for Cocoa Capital Orange County, which is the California subsidiary. I am the Vice President of Broker Development for Cocoa Capital, all of Cocoa Capital. I do on occasion do training for the Lee Arnold System of Real Estate Investing. You may have seen some of the videos that I did on the How It Works tab on the Cocoa Capital website. Okay? We'll be doing more of those. You may have seen me at a funding tour, for instance. Possible. And as you probably figured out, I'm licensed in California. Been a real estate investor for a long time. So subject to wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, contract for deed, short sales. I can talk about the stuff. We practice what we preach. Okay? How many of you are real estate investors? Okay, good. How many of you have actually done a deal? Good, 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 good. I like that. Now, as Dave said, I'm also a lender. That number is no longer right. I actually have 8 real estate loans now, right now, and next week I'll be signing on 2 more. Love it. It's great. I don't have to swing a hammer, and I don't even have to manage people that swing hammers. How many of you have managed a rehab before? How much fun is that? Do you like the surprises? No, I don't like them either. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk about the company. I think all of you are familiar with Secured Investment Corp. That's the parent company to the Lee Arnold System of Real Estate Investing. That's where we teach you how to be real estate investors, how to be more successful, and all of that. After you've learned how to be successful, obviously you're going to need money for your deals. That's where Cocoa Capital comes in. Now, you are going to have the opportunity to send loans to us. We're going to teach you how we do the loan process, but everything we teach you contractor for Cocoa Capital. You are an independent business. But we'd love to have you bring your deals to us, and so that's why we're teaching you our process. Everything we gather is going to be useful for others. Once you've done the deal, somebody has to service the deal, collect the money, make sure they make their payments on time, etc. Like City Servicing does that. Secured Investment Corp has a mission statement that says, reimagining technology to create cutting-edge solutions for investors to participate in alternative, secured, high-performance investments. That has to do with real estate investing. It is not stocks and bonds. It is not mutual funds. It's the alternative. The banks and all of those folks look at us as alternative. The difference is, when was the last time you bought a stock and it was insured so that it would not go below a certain value if it burned down or something? With real estate, they aren't making any more land, right? And once the house is there, it can sometimes last for over 100 years, right? And you can always put insurance on it, so if something happens to it, you get your money out, right? And if you're making a loan, you make it with, some loan to value, so you got equities. As an example, I'm foreclosing, or actually I have already foreclosed on a property in North Carolina. I lent $100,000. I accepted an offer on Tuesday we evicted them. They were out last Thursday. And it's as is. I mean, the place is a mess. They left all kinds of stuff, gifts that are now mine. Okay? I accepted an offer on Tuesday for $175,000. Does that work? Yeah. Do you think I can afford the $400 dumpster for him to go, the buyer who wants to clean it out so the appraiser will appraise it high enough so he can actually get his loan? I love it. I love it. He wants to do the work for me. So I'll pay for the dumpster. Okay? But with that much margin, do I have room to pay for the lawyers to get him out of there? Can you do that with a stock? Okay, so that's what this is all about. Lee Arnold's System of Real Estate Investing, mission statement: to educate, train, and provide access to relationships and products allowing individuals to achieve financial freedom through real estate. We've seen that. Cocoa Capital, to provide no-hassle, asset-backed, real-time private capital to real estate investors. Every investor needs capital. You've heard of OPM, right? Ta-da! Our slogan: we get more of what we want by helping others get more of what they want. Those of you that have been to Coeur d'Alene, let me see your hands. Have you seen this slogan anywhere?
Right in the front.
It's right on the wall, inside the front door, in the lobby. Letters about this tall, okay? That is what we believe. We get more of what we want by helping you get more of what you want. Our success depends on your success. Do you think we care about your success? Do you think we're just another education company that just sells you this course, and then our objective is to sell you the next course, and the next course, and the next course, and then once we've sold you all the courses we have, we dump you? Anybody experienced that? Yeah, I've been there. That's not us. We care about your success. We will work with you to help you be successful, because when you make loans, either as an investor or bring them to us as a broker, we're going to make money too. We make money together. So we have an alignment of interest. We care. And that's what this is all about. Our training is to make sure that you win so that we can win. We want to provide you with the resources to be an independent private money broker. We want to get you ready for passing the test. And we will help you think through the steps you have to go through to set up your business. We will talk about the different players in the sequence and where you fit. We'll talk a little bit about marketing and how to generate leads. Do you have a business if the phone isn't ringing? Nah. How do you get the phone to ring? Call your mother-in-law, say, please call my phone, please call my phone. That doesn't work? You've got to get people interested. Okay? So, is it my job to make your phone ring?
It's your job to get us to make our phone.
My job is to convince you that you've got to make your phone ring. Marketing and generating leads is key. We'll talk about the rule of 54 later on, if you haven't already heard it. Positioning. Does anybody know what positioning means? Ever heard of branding?
Yes.
You have to be known. Do you suppose people are going to call just because you passed the certification test? They have to know what you are, and they have to remember you. Does anybody ever get an occasional email from Lee Arnold? So let me ask you, what are the chances that you've forgotten his name already? You're going to remember him, right? Do you know what he does? Does he do lending? Does he do training? Does he do webinars? Does he care about your success? You've heard it. Now, how do you know that? Because of positioning. He's made it very clear what he's doing. He's trying to stay in front of you, to get your attention. Now, let me give you a little trick on something I've done to brand myself. You've heard of the yellow letter, right? Yes. Okay. Well, it's also good to send out postcards because they don't have to open those, right? So I send out postcards as an investor to non-owner occupants that live out of state. And I look for those that have bought their, or have the mortgage that's more than 16 or 17 years old, so that I know that they've got a fair chunk of equity. They could do a carry back if I wanted to buy it. You know all the tricks for doing that, okay? Well, guess what? My grandson is 2 years old right now. No, excuse me, wrong one. He's 3.5. Oh wow, he's almost 4. I'll get this right yet. The baby's almost 2. But anyway, when he was about 6, 8 months old, I took a picture of him sitting in his high chair, and he was wearing a bib that said, Grandpa's All-Star. Okay? His picture is on every one of my postcards. Because when they see that yellow postcard with that cute baby down in the corner, do you think they know who it came from? Do you think they remember getting another one of those because I send them regularly? That's branding. Okay? You need to be thinking about ways to brand yourself, positioning. We'll talk about that more. How to recognize a target deal. You think that'd be useful? Yes. Okay, I received a lead this morning. You tell me whether you think it's a target. You haven't even taken the course yet. I'm going to ask you this question. How's that for a test? Purchase price, $340,000. Is that good? Loan amount requested, $818,000.
Keep going.
That's all I know. That's all I know. That's all I know. Based on those two pieces of information, purchase price, $340,000, loan request, $818,000. Would you lend that money yourself? Why? They don't have any skin in the game. Not only that, you've got all the skin in the game. Okay, so you haven't even taken the course. You're doing great. I love this. I love this. Then we want you to get to be a master at what you do. We want you to become a master broker. Master brokers get special treatment. They get 3 points. They get leads. They get special calls. They get a whole bunch of stuff. They also get to send their deals, after they've gotten enough experience, directly into underwriting. You suppose that speeds things up? Yes. Yeah, you want to be a master broker. You want to get there. There are several ways you can get there, but you want to get there. We will talk about the whole process that you'll go through, everything from application to underwriting. We'll talk about how to structure the deal. Do you suppose there's only one way? The way the borrower says, I want to borrow one loan and all that. You suppose there are multiple ways we could do this? Other alternatives? We'll talk about that. You suppose it'd be handy to practice on some case studies? Hear, see, do. Do you understand what we're trying to get here for you? We want you to know this. We'll take some time to do a certification test review the night before, which will be followed by choir practice. Seriously, we do a worship service on Sunday mornings at 7:45. Every event, Lee does a Bible study at 6:45 Pacific time every Sunday morning. You're all invited. But on Sunday morning, we will have a worship service here. We do need a choir for it. So be thinking. And just remember that the command was to make a joyful noise before the Lord. Just because you think you can't sing doesn't mean that's true. Okay? Any questions on that? No questions, okay? Then what I'm going to do is we're going to switch gears here slightly. Dan needs to, we need to say hi to Dan. Hi, Dan. Thank you. He's an amazing guy. He's put up all this stuff so that we can do this. And we're going to switch to the next presentation. While he's doing that, he's got to make some adjustments. But if you'll switch to page 11, we'll be ready. We're going to give him about 30 seconds. And I'm going to ask you some more questions. How many of you have ever had your own business? All right, I like this. How many of you had that business for more than 2 years? All right, because a very high percentage of new businesses die within the first 2 years. So the fact that you had it for more than 2 is that you are capable of being successful. You can be successful at this. You just have to make up your mind that you want to do this. How many of you are thinking of being both a broker and a real estate investor? Good. Which one are you going to lead with? Great idea. The reason you want to lead with being a broker, at least the reason I use anyway, is people are bringing me deals that need funding, or they need somebody to partner with them, or they need somebody to buy it when they're done, or they will find out that I also buy properties and I also wholesale properties, and I can establish a relationship with them, and they're coming to me to get the money in the first place. I mean, that's like having a free and clear property and it's generating rent, and I use it as an additional security on another loan, and I now have a mortgage on it, buy this property, pay that off, put a mortgage on it, buy this property, fix it up, sell it, pay that off. The whole time it was sitting there generating money. Do you suppose that's a cool strategy?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I like starting with a broker. You know the other thing? Remember, Jerry likes to RV, right? Guess what? When you're rehabbing a property, do you have to be anywhere near the property? You don't, but it sure works better when you're there or somebody you trust is there, right? When you're brokering loans, do you have to be near the property? Oh. If I have my RV, if I have my phone, if I have my computer, if I have the internet, and I have all 4 of them at the same time, can I broker loans?
Absolutely.
I could be sitting, well, it's going to be a little hard to sit under a palm tree in Hawaii with my RV. But at least with the other 3, I could be brokering loans sitting under a palm tree in Hawaii, right?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay? So, Daniel, we look like we're ready to roll here. Good. Now, I need to have my little friend here. I want to keep you on time. Is that okay?
Yep.
And I already know that since I never wear a watch, I used to wear watches and then I just didn't like dealing with it. This is now my watch. But it's kind of hard to get that out of your pocket and check it. That's kind of uncool to do that while I'm in front of a crowd. So this little thing keeps us on track. Okay? So we're going to have a break after this. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. Okay. What does it take to be in business? Your motivation matters. You need to be doing this for more than money. What does it matter to you to be a broker of private money? Think about that. You don't have to answer right now, but maybe on that sheet that says plan for next week, you want to write down something like, why am I doing this? Or, I am doing this because. You want to remember it or you want to figure it out. So you might want to jot that down. Never stop learning. This is just the beginning of your career as a private money broker. You need to write a success plan. Now, I could call it a business plan, but that would scare some of you, perhaps, because everybody's seen the business plans. You know, they're thick and they're dry, and you write them, and then most people just forget about them. That's not what we need here. We need you to write a success plan. How are you going to be successful? And how you're going to be successful is by doing what we tell you to do until you get it right, and then you can change it all you want. Right? Okay? Accountability. That's the back end of writing that success plan, the holding yourself to it. If you're really good at holding yourself accountable, do it. If you're not, you need somebody to hold you accountable. And whether that is a spouse, whether that is a friend, whether that is a family member, whether it is a business partner, whether it is somebody in this room that you kind of hit it off with, doesn't matter, but you need somebody. How many of you are real estate investors and can think of at least one family member that doesn't know you're a real estate investor? That's not good. Everybody in the world needs to know that you are a private money broker. Is that okay? Does that include the girl at the checkout counter in the grocery store?
Yes.
Does it include the guy in the hardware store? Let me swap those. Does it include the guy at the checkout counter in the grocery store?
No.
Does it include the woman in the hardware store? Absolutely. Everybody needs to know. Okay. Why do you do that? Because the next time you see them, you want them to ask, how's it going? You want to be able to tell them the truth, right? You want somebody that will hold you accountable, whether it's a weekly call or whatever. Now, brain science is something that is kind of interesting to me. Better because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes. Your subconscious mind wants you to be successful. And the way it figures out what success you want is by what you say and what you think. It doesn't hear negative. It doesn't understand the concept of negatives. So if you say, I don't want to fail, okay, subconscious mind doesn't hear the don't, so what does that turn it into? It's going to help you. It is going to help you fail. Don't do that. When you're setting a goal, always word it from the positive. When you're talking about what you're going to do, always word it from the positive. Don't look at the glass half empty. Always look at the glass half full. Keep that optimism there. Training your brain also includes creating new habits. Do it consistently. They used to say that if you do a task for 30 days in a row, it becomes a habit. Anybody ever heard that? Yes. It's baloney. Some things can become habits in 2 days. Some things take 6 months to become habits. The point is you want to keep doing it until it becomes a habit. You know how Ben Franklin did it? Ben Franklin had a list of the stuff that he wanted to improve on, his personal improvement. And he prioritized them. And he only focused on the top one on the list. Every day he looked at it, a couple times. The list was always in front of him, but he only focused on changing that one thing. Because the reality is your mind can't deal with multiple goals at the same time. Maybe 2 or 3 you can get away with, but anything beyond that, you're wasting your time. So if you're going to focus on the thing that's most important and make that a habit so you don't have to think about it again. As soon as it was a habit, he'd cross it off and he'd look at the second one. Focus. Same thing here. You're training your brain that you are in business for yourself. You're doing things in a certain way. You need to make it consistent. You don't want to just be like a rabbit running around in a... You've seen rabbits, how they run, right? Anybody knowing anybody that works like that? Yeah, that better not be you. Okay, core competency. Your core competency is what makes you special. It's the one thing that you do better than anybody else. Do you know what your core competency is? What are you better at than anybody? What's your business going to be better at than anybody? That is sometimes called your unique selling proposition, your USP. Ever heard that? Yes. You need to know what your USP, your unique selling proposition, your advantage, your competitive advantage, your core competence, whatever you want to call it, you need to know what it is. And if you don't know what it is, write yourself a note for next week, figure it out, talk to people, ask people, what do you think I do better than anybody else? There are lots of ways you can figure it out. There are all kinds of tests you can take to figure those kinds of things out. Now, how many of you, as of today, already know everything you need to know to be a private money broker? And I believe him. I've seen him before. Okay. And for you live streamers, I also want to encourage you to come and be a part of a live event. Why? For a bunch of reasons. First of all, being in the room, you're going to learn a whole bunch more because you're going to be sharing notes with people in the room. Second of all, you'll have a chance to interact with us. And third of all, the networking that's going to happen here is going to jumpstart their businesses. You're not going to have that advantage. So just plan on it. And act like a broker right now, okay? You need to start acting like a broker even if you aren't a broker right now. Fake it till you make it. You've heard that? Okay? It doesn't have to be taken as a negative. You need to be acting like you're a broker. Does that include going to an appointment in flip-flops? No. You don't go to appointments in sweats and flip-flops. You dress in an outfit that makes you feel more powerful. You dress for success. This is a job. Work at it like it is. Daniel, do you have one of those?
Yes.
Do you wear it?
Not on this, but I do.
Not on that. Yeah, I understand that. I like that shirt. I like that shirt. Did you see his shirt? You watch. Yeah, you don't have to stand up now. Introduce yourself to Daniel so you get a chance to see his shirt. Okay? Okay? Okay. Work at it like the job it is. It is a job. You are the boss. If your boss saw you dressed like you dressed to do your job, would that boss be happy with you? You're the boss. You better not be unless you're dressed for success. If you want to be successful, you got to look. My dad, when I was growing up, owned a men's clothing store. So I happen to like clothing. Nice clothing. He had a sign in the window that said, "When you look your best, you do your best." Have you ever experienced that in your own life? Do you perform better when you're in flip-flops and baggy sweatpants, or when you're dressed in, I'll pick Bettina. Bettina. When you're dressed in heels and a dress. Way better, okay? Same thing, same thing. And when you're networking, are you out there to have fun? No. You are there for a business reason. What do you need out of every networking interaction? Contact information. You need to know what they do. You need to, those kinds of things. You're gathering information. You have a job to do when you are networking. Okay? It's all about making money. We talked about knowing your core competency. You have to be legal, obviously. Time management is going to be one of your biggest problems in most of your cases. Anybody ever had a problem with time management? Okay, there are books out there about time management. There are courses online about time management. There are workshops you can take on time management. If your boss knew you were not a good time manager, would your boss send you to a time management course or a book? Either one. But would they do it? They'd send you to something, right? You're the boss. If you know you have time management problems, send yourself to a book or a workshop. Write it down. Set office hours. If you are using your home as an office, you have to get in the mindset that this is not your home during certain hours, and you will not do home things during those certain hours. I have an office in the home. I've had my office in the home since 2003 or thereabouts. That's when I first started doing that. And my family knows that when I'm in my office, I am as far away as if I were in Silicon Valley, 30 miles away. By the way, I live in San Francisco Bay Area. Fremont, which is halfway between Oakland and San Jose. Most people can place those. You can now place Fremont too. The nice thing about Fremont is it's 30 miles from everything, 30 minutes from everything. Let's put it that way. You don't measure distances in miles, you know, when you're in the Bay Area or in LA. You measure distances in minutes or hours, right? You all know that, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, when it comes to working with others, don't put your hands or your success in the hands of others. You care more about the results than offending somebody by not whatevering, okay? One of my early deals I did as a partner with a guy that had been investing for 15 years. And this was the first deal that I did by partnering out of my IRA. Because I was partnering out of my IRA was the partner. So I had to be a little careful about how involved I personally got in, you know, some of the stuff that was going on. I actually managed the rehab, but in terms of finances and stuff like that, we had to be pretty circumspect. The problem was that to accomplish that, he was a 51% partner, and I was my IRA was a 49% partner. He made some dumb decisions. Try this one on. Buy property, subject to. Leave owner there for 10 weeks after close of escrow, not paying rent. Close of escrow, mid-May. 10 weeks later, 1st of August. Get the contractors in mid-August. Get the construction and all the stuff done by end of October. And get it on the market the 1st of November. Can you predict what happened with that property? Sat over the holidays. We were killed by the holding costs. Would that story have been different if he wouldn't have let the guy stay there for? Absolutely. If I'd have been driving it, now at the time, because it was a first deal, I didn't know any better either. But I can tell you what I do now. You'll be out. And if you're not out, I am going to have 3 of my friends, my closest friends from Home Depot, standing out along the curb. You've seen those folks, right? 3 of my closest friends from Home Depot, a rental truck at your front door the next morning. They will know the address of the storage unit that I am paying 1 month's rent for you, and they will move all your stuff there. You can deal with it there, but the day after that, we're starting the rehab. Is it worth it to me to fork out a couple $100 to do that? Absolutely, because I lost $8,000. My IRA lost $8,000 on that deal. I trusted somebody just because he had 15 years experience. Experience doesn't equal smart necessarily. You can still do dumb things. Everybody agree with that? Okay. Don't be afraid to fail. So, because of that, do you think it scared me out of ever doing another deal? Heck no. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. Thomas Edison, you know, the inventor of the light bulb, famous for inventing the light bulb. He was once asked, after somebody heard that he had tried 10,000 different ways of doing it, and every one of them had failed. They were asked, doesn't that discourage you? And he said, heck no. I now know 10,000 ways it won't work. Okay? And you've also heard the one that is usually attributed to Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. You've heard that, right? Henry Ford did not say that. Did you know that? Mrs. Henry Ford said that. Anybody ever seen a husband get credit for the wife's intelligence. I love it. I got a great wife. We're celebrating 40 years in June. Thank you. Okay, you want to make sure you have an entity. As an investor, you want an entity. As a broker, you probably want an entity. Now, does it have to be a different one from your real estate one initially? Nah. You can do business as some other name. In Alameda County in California, all I have to do is pay $7 and I can add a DBA, a doing business as name, to my registration for my entity. Okay? I didn't do that, but I could. But you want to set up an entity at some point. You want to invest in a customer relationship management software. Now that could be something as simple as an Excel spreadsheet until you've got money coming in. It could be ACT. It could be, there are lots of them out there. If you Google CRM or Customer Relationship Management software, you'll find dozens of them. You can probably find them for tablets and iPhones and stuff like that too. So if you don't know one and you don't have one you want to know, write it down. Task for next week, find one. If you're working with a partner, make sure you write out the partnership agreement, hold each other accountable, and make sure you have job descriptions for your employees. I currently have 2 interns working for me doing the investing front end stuff. They're out there looking for deals for me to do. I happen to be having them do commercial stuff right now, but write out job descriptions so they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. It might even be a good idea, since you are the boss, to write yourself a job description. You as boss, what are you going to do as the employee doing the work? If you think you need that, write it down. Now, we want you to be specific on your goals. We want to make them SMART goals, and SMART means something. SMART means, and this is a hint. This is a hint. Think test. Think test. Okay? SMART goals are specific. It's in your manual, isn't it? Yes. What page is that on? 16. Everybody on page 16? Okay? They are specific. That means they're clear, they're concise, they're tangible. Okay, what would be specific? I want to go someplace with my RV. Is that specific? Okay. I want to go with Pennsylvania. That would be I don't happen to want to go to Pennsylvania right now, but I'm quite happy with Dallas at the moment. But thank you, Bettina. That works. That works. Specific. You want to be clear, concise, and tangible. So, do you want a goal that's about that long to write it out? No. Concise. Okay. Measurable. There's got to be some way that some independent person can put a check mark in that box and say, "Yep, done." Okay? I have a goal of going to Pennsylvania someday. I have a goal of going to Pennsylvania. Well, actually, in the next month, if I said something like that, would that be measurable? Yes. Okay. Actionable. You can do something to actually make this happen. Okay. I have a goal that you all will submit at least one loan by the end of this next month. If I have a goal that every single one of you and every single one of you will submit a loan by the end of March, this is February, right? Yeah. We're in February yet. By the end of February, Would I want to bet my year's salary on that happening? No. It's not actionable. It's not something I control. So don't write goals that depend on somebody else doing something. Write it for the piece you have to do. Okay? They have to be realistic. No, I want to do the laser. There we go. Notice that. Realism is relative when you're setting goals because you don't know what you're capable of, do you? When I coach folks on setting goals, I say, okay, tell me what you think you can do, and then I want to stretch it just a little bit. I want to stretch it just enough so they start to get uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable enough that it's unrealistic. For those of you that are not used to setting goals that you meet, let me see the hands of people that know the experience of setting goals that they didn't meet. Let me see the hands of the people that know that happens with some regularity in their lives. Oh, good, good. If you know that you've got trouble meeting goals, set them a little smaller. I'll tell you why. Meeting goals feeds your subconscious mind, feeds your confidence, gives you more. You suppose that you're going to be more successful if you're confident? If your confidence has been fed, do you think you're going to be able to stretch that next goal and do it? You want to start experiencing that. So set goals initially that you can make and then start stretching them. Start stretching them. Okay? And timed. A goal without a time frame is nothing but a dream, because my wanting to go to Pennsylvania is not going to get me to Pennsylvania anytime soon. Okay? Now, if we happen to hold an event in Pennsylvania, somebody else will have gotten me to Pennsylvania. But right now, I've already seen the Liberty Bell. I have seen some of the Amish. I've seen as much of Pennsylvania as I need for right this moment. I will get there in the RV when we actually decide we're ready to retire. Okay? But timed. Deadlines matter. Okay, SMART goals. Let's talk about your power team. A power team is a group of people of complementary professionals. They work with the same clients, but they do not take business away from each other. So, some examples. In real estate, we've got realtors, mortgage brokers, building inspectors, title agents, real estate attorneys, private money lenders, private money brokers. Every single one of them works with the same set of clients. Can you refer business to each other? Do you suppose their marketing could identify a client that you could lend money to? Yes. Do you suppose your marketing could identify a client that would need a realtor or a building inspector or a title agent or something like that? Yes. Okay, so these are folks that you want on your power team. Power team is going to help you with a variety of things. It's going to help you find deals. I'm going to give you another tip. If I'm thinking about strategy of teaching you, and I've said that seeing it, hearing it, and doing something with it is a good strategy to help you remember it, do you suppose I would make you write something that you're going to need to know later, like for a test? Yes. Just a tip. So, if power team needs to help you with three things: finding deals, finding money, and closing deals. Notice how I'm giving you the time to write? Isn't that nice of me? Yeah, great guy, this Jerry. All right. Okay. What can your power team do? Create a dynamic team of investors from the people that you already know, like, and trust. It can help you find capital. And like I'm using my interns, they can be your property hunters. They might be partners. For instance, what I'm doing with the interns, am I paying them? Heck no. But if they find a deal, they get a piece. They can be my partner. That's legal in any state. Okay? Can you do that with your bird dogs? Finding loans. Okay? There may be ways you can do that. I don't know. Depends on your state. Got to keep it legal. Professionals in from all areas affected by your business to give you advice and support from people that know what they're doing. Now, when you are doing your networking and you're working with this power team, you want to be known as the connector. You want to be the person that's the spark plug. You want to be the person that's going where these people are, so you can meet them. You want to meet your best customers, your competitors, your prospects. You want to be in masterminds. You want to be in seminars, REI clubs. You want to be on Facebook. You want to be in LinkedIn. You want to be where they are. You've already heard that old saying about the three most important things for success in business are location, location, and location. When you're doing a virtual business, one that's done via phones and computers, what is location? Well, it is being online. Now, as a private money broker, would you rather go to somebody that has an email address of Daniel at yahoo.com or Daniel, what's your company name?
Front Range Capital Investments.
Would you rather go to one that said Daniel at Front Range Capital Investments? Which one would you take more seriously? It's your business. Go where your customers are. It's also part of your branding. Give value, be a resource and a connector. So you want to be the person that's out there driving this. Don't wait for them to bring it to you. You start bringing it to them, because by referring folks to them, you'll get referrals. That is the equivalent of that occasional email you get from Lee Arnold. You are staying in front of them. You are staying at front of mind, they call that. By sending stuff to them, there's also that little obligation that they'll feel. Wow, he sent me a lead. He'll remember you. Their subconscious mind will filter it out. Let me tell you a little bit more about that subconscious mind thing. I worked with a guy once, probably more than a dozen years ago, who bought, you remember those Honda sports cars that came out that were bright yellow? They existed, trust me. Okay? He bought one of those for one simple reason. It was so unique. He'd never seen one before. He bought this cute little yellow Honda sports car. On the way home from the dealership, he saw 3 on the freeway. And dozens after that. What happened there? The subconscious mind has millions and billions of bits of information coming at it all the time. It is filtering stuff out, or you'd go nuts. It filters for the stuff it knows you want to see. Okay? Suddenly, he's interested in yellow Honda sports cars. So guess what the subconscious mind started filtering for? Guess where they were on the list before? Not there. You didn't know about yellow Honda sports cars, so you've probably never seen one, right? Okay, same thing's happening here. You want to make sure that you are feeding referrals to the rest of your power team, because their subconscious mind is going to feel a little obligation to do something back. That's just the way we're wired, okay? So you're not doing it for that reason, but you do need to stay in front of their mind. So connectivity is today's currency. The most connected player wins the most profitable plays. Now, where can you network? Remembering location, location, location. Well, there are a few places, both online and offline. You could use social media. You could go to REI clubs. You could use Skype to connect visually with folks wherever. Do you suppose it matters if people get to know you and like you? They do business with the people they trust. You suppose a Skype session with somebody would be useful to relate to someone? Yes. Does the attorney, real estate attorney that you're networking with have to be next door? No. So Skype could be useful for you. Referrals are ways to network. You could write a blog. You could attend seminars. You could meet people. You could network in a lot of different ways. Any questions on this? Okay, so how are we doing on time here? Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're a little ahead, but we're going to take a break right now. We're going to take a, can we do a 10-minute break? How about 15? 15 work? Okay, now, here we have to practice something. Dan, you have my music ready to roll? We're going to practice something. You remember the tune that I came in on? Anybody ever heard it before? Let me see the hands of people that have heard that. All right. By the end of the weekend, you will hear that more than once. Okay? You know what that's for? That is your signal to get your buns back in here. Okay? Now, anybody ever been to a concert or something like that where they started flashing the lights? What's that for? Go sit down. Right? Okay. So we need to practice this, because in order to stay on time, it's not all on me. You understand that, right? When we're ready to start, if you're not there, we can't start. Okay? So here's what I'd like you to do. Anytime you hear the music, I want you to stop what you're doing and come back in here and sit down as quickly as you can. Okay? We're going to practice that right now. Start talking to the person next to you. Dan, when I cue you, start the music, okay? Start talking to each other.
When banks say no, call Kogo. Investors in the know.
Cut! When that music starts, you stop what you're doing. I'll let you finish the sentence. You stop what you're doing and you get back to the class, okay? Let's try that again. Talk to each other. Come on. Humor me. Humor me. Come on. All right.
When banks say no, call Kogo. Investors in the know, call Kogo. Yes, everybody.
That's a little better. We still got a couple over here that don't get it. And because I'm picking on you, wait, should I reward them for being bad?
Yes.
Later. I'll save these so that if you get it next time, you get them, okay? Is that fair? One more time. We got to get this. We've got to get this. Let's try it. Talk. Go, Dan.
When banks say no, call Go.
All right. Good. One for you, and one for you. All right, let's take a break. 15 minutes.